Well, I'm absolutely and overwhelmingly delighted to be welcome one of my favourite people in the world, the lovely Clare Grogan. Good morning.
Good morning. I just feel like I'm going to be a terrible letdown to you now.
You would never be a letdown, Claire. I promise you that. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on this morning. It is, you are on my,
Dear.
if you have a bucket list, this is on my bucket list.
Oh,
So
no
thank you.
pressure.
No pressure at all, Claire. No pressure at all. But let's dive back right to the beginning. Before Altered Images, growing up, you grew up in Glasgow. Tell me a little about growing up in Glasgow.
I mean, I love Glasgow to this day. I had a really genuinely happy childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it kind of sounds a bit cliched. We didn't have an awful lot, but we had an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad, my mum was a hairdresser. My dad worked in Glasgow Fish Market. And I had two sisters. I've still got two sisters, Margaret and Kathleen. I've just been on holiday with them. And, we have a big sense of family within, all of us.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with my mom and our sisters, all my aunties and uncles, and they were all mad music fans.
Yeah.
So I was very, very privileged to have that at a very early age.
So what was it? I mean, obviously, you've been you're a writer, you're a singer, you're a actress or actor, depending on how you want to define the word. And you seem to have crammed a lot in. What was the first? I'm trying to balance it out. Was Altered Images come first, or did the Gregory's Girl come first? It was very close.
Yeah, it was very close. I was in the band before I was asked to make the film. So I guess the band came first, but I was in the Scottish Youth Theatre. I'd really, really loved performing, and I was determined one way or another to make it happen. But what I really didn't expect was the summer I left school, I made Gregory's Girl, and I got signed to a major record label. And I have literally, to this day, no idea how that happened.
Talent?
Yes.
Talent. Of course.
Yes, it's fabulous.
Talent and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, it was just extraordinary. I still I call it my double whammy. And I kind of took it in my stride as well, Piers. It's like a weird thing, when you're young and quite naive, and you just kind of go along with things, And, in my head, I was like, oh, this is great. I really want to be an actor, and I really want to sing, and this is good.
Yeah.
I had no idea just how fortunate I was, though, at that point.
Yeah, it was Bill Forsyth, I guess, that discovered you. Now, I heard a story now. You can tell me if this is true or not. You were working in a Italian restaurant?
Yes, the Spaghetti Factory.
Yep, and he found you there, and you weren't sure if he was genuine or something else at the time. So, you were a bit wary, I guess.
Definitely. He came into the restaurant, and the night that he spoke to me, he was actually with another film director called Mike Radford, and he was the one that said, Bill's making a film next summer, and he thinks you'd be great for the film, and can we have your phone number? And I was like, no, absolutely not. My mother has warned me about people like you. And, of course, later on, my manager at the time, Sandra Payne, said, Claire, these guys are legitimate filmmakers. You might want to reconsider that decision. And of course I did. And met up with Bill, and, the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said to you off air, Gregory's Girl is one of my all-time favourite movies. I think it's a coming-of-age film in so many different ways. And the cinematography, apart from anything else, I think is brilliant. And my favourite scene is you lying on your back. I'll rephrase that, but with Gordon Sinclair in that classic scene of dancing in the park. I just think that was just like that. And the piece of music that plays over that, it's just mind-boggling. It's just so nice. But the whole general thing of the film was just so nice. It felt, because I guess I just left school not long after that, when that period of time, and I was in Scotland, as I said to you before, working in a hotel in Blair Atholl, and I went to see the film, obviously in Pitlockery, which is obviously where you were doing a play before lockdown turned into a nightmare for us all at the time. So I fell in love with that. And I fell in love with the berry. I fell in love with your berry as well. That little black berry. I hope you've still got that berry. If not, there's something seriously wrong.
No, actually, I had to, because in films you quite often have to double up on things. And both of them I've auctioned for charities. So I don't own the berries anymore, I'm afraid. But I'm really glad that I did that to make some money.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, it's if you're going to do anything, that's the best way to get rid of them. Then, obviously, Altered Images went sort of stratospheric when you signed for, was it Epic Records at the time? Yeah.
I mean, it was an absolute crazy few years I had of just... I went from 0 to 100 very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And, well, it was just... I can't describe it to people. It was huge. And the whole thing with Gregory's Girl as well. I honestly remember one morning my mum calling me down to the phone and saying, Claire, it's Simon on the phone. And Simon was our A&R guy. And he said, I've just read this article about you being in a BAFTA-nominated film called Gregory's Girl. Is this true? And I was like, yes. And he went, I'm wondering why you've never mentioned it before. I mean, it was such a different time. It never occurred to me to mention to anyone that I was in the film. But of course, now marketing people would be all over that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just really busy, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was great fun. And then one morning I woke up and it just wasn't fun anymore. And I just felt, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep this up.
Yeah.
And I used to feel really bad about that. And now I look back and I think nobody could have kept that up. It was insane.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, otherwise you'd burn out, wouldn't you, at the end of the day?
Yeah. Well, I had burnt out. I was honestly 23 years old. I was completely burnt out. And, I think, though, what happened after that, is I probably shouldn't have left the band. Probably just needed a really good holiday.
Yeah. Don't we all?
When you're young, everything's so black and white. It's so all or nothing. So I took some time out, and I think then I got asked to make Comfort and Joy.
Yes.
Another Bill Forsyth
Another
film.
brilliant movie with Bill Patterson.
Yeah, I love Bill Patterson and Alex Norton, of course.
Yeah.
It was just a joy making that film.
Obviously, he was playing a DJ as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Dickie Bird.
Yep.
I don't know why that's come back into my head. And, I realised that I had just been really tired. And I think the one thing that I really felt at the time but couldn't quite express it is, in that back then, Chris, it was such a male-dominated industry. And I was just a young girl, and I just got very weary of having no women around me.
Yeah.
So when I sort of reincarnated Altered Images, I thought, I'm going to put girls in the band so that I'm always going to have somebody to chat with while we're doing our makeup before we go on stage.
Yes.
And yeah, it's funny. It's really funny, but everything has a reason. There's a reason to everything. And yeah, I know I'm not making much sense, but I so loved being in Altered Images first time round.
Yeah.
But it was too much for a young girl with very little support.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. But and then you sort of you went into more TV and films and stuff like that, like Red Dwarf over the years. Father Ted as well.
Father Ted. I loved being in Father Ted. I really could not believe my luck that I landed that part. Cause, it was all down to whether I could do a convincing Dublin accent. And my mum was from Dublin, so I knew I could pull it off because I was always making fun of my mum's accent. So that's what I always think, thank you so much, Mum, from being from Dublin. I'd never have got that part. But anyway, that was great. I actually played Dublin for the first time ever. Can't believe it. Played it twice this summer at festivals, and the reaction was just really fabulous. It was so great. And I just thought, my mum's no longer with me, Pierre, so I just thought my mum would be so ecstatic to know that this has happened. I got to play in the grounds of the Museum of Ireland at Collins Barracks, and I just thought, God, she would just never believe that this was happening.
It's amazing.
Crazy.
Oh, absolutely amazing. You also, I think it was only in Scotland it was shown, but you did a cooking show with Gary McLean, the MasterChef winner, of course, who's been on the show. He's a lovely, lovely guy. I have managed to find it. I found it and watched a few episodes because I'm a foodie. I love my food, and I trained as a chef when I was younger, so I just love to cook, and I still do. It's just one of my little passions, as they say.
Yeah, well, my husband and I have 3 restaurants.
Oh, right, okay. That bit I didn't know. If you're looking for an old chef, I'm still around.
My husband's an absolute foodie. I mean, I'm more into drinking the cocktails, to be honest.
Fair enough.
But no, the food is fantastic. But yeah, no, it was great doing Corner Shop Cook-Off. It sort of just came, I was approached about it, and because I am genuinely really interested in food, and I love the idea of learning new skills and just being part of something where you're going to pick up an experience that you'll really learn from. And I saw that I just thought it would be great fun, and I love any excuse to go back to Scotland.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really good fun doing the show. I loved it. I love Gary. He's a very, very lovely man.
Yeah, he is. He really is. So his family are really nice as well, who I got to speak to when I was doing all that stuff with him. And he's just brilliant. He really is. Now, do you want to jump to current times? Because obviously Altered Image, you're back, of course. Yes. Current album, Bite, of course, and the tour, Bite Back.
So it's the 40th anniversary of Bite, and it was the 40th anniversary of Bite last year,
40?
At the end of
My
last
God.
year. Yeah, I know, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we decided to do just like a one-off show and play, sing the song, the album in sequence, and it went really, really well. We had a fabulous big sold-out show in London, and everyone went, if you've gone to all that bother, you should really take it to some other places. And I thought, yeah, we really should. And sometimes just trying to sequence tours just takes a bit longer than you'd hope. You kind of have a great idea and it's like, let's do it. And then it's like, yes, you can do it next October, Clare. So so that sort of thing. So the first half of the show, we perform Bite in its entirety. And then in the second half of the show, there will be a costume change. We play a selection of Altered Images, my favourite Altered Images songs from all 4 albums. So we released Mascara Streaks 2 years ago, which is our latest album.
Yeah, that was
songs from that. And that really took me by surprise because I really wanted it to do well. But to be back in the charts was just extraordinary. It was just absolutely brilliant.
No, it's a great album. It's a great album.
Thank you.
I mean, I think I made Mascara Streaks when it came out, the single, because it was released there was a single as well, which was Mascara Streaks. That was my record of the week when it came out. So I just saw it. I just loved it. But I love the voice. I just love the happiness. There's happiness in your music. I think that you're a happy person, apart from the fact you had to stop for a while because it was driving you crazy. But I think, look, I guess coming back and looking back now, how do you think about that when you look back at that time now and go like, we're still doing it?
Well, I think if you'd told my 18, 19, 20-year-old self that I'd be doing this in my 60s, I would have thought, well, that's just really weird. That's not right. And yet it feels absolutely right. And I think it's because my audiences are so... It's like we've all been through something, and I am a happy person, but I've also been through a lot of stuff in life.
Yes.
So I think you can only find happiness, true happiness,
of course,
when you've had to deal with the not so great times.
Yeah, of course.
And there's been plenty of those. And I look at the audience and I think, God, we are all still standing, as Elton would say. We are still wanting to have a really good time. And I know you've all been through some stuff. You just don't get to this age, without.
Yeah.
But what has really taken me by surprise is like the younger people that come to the shows, which is just great. I used to think at first it was people had dragged their kids along, and then I realised that young people love 80s music as well.
Oh, yeah. Very, very popular. 80s is still... I think 80s will always be there, no matter how long and how many years go by. Absolutely brilliant. It's just brilliant. It really is. Can I just talk about your writing, Tallulah?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tallulah. You've had 2 books out now. Is there going to be, you'll have to excuse me if I'm wrong, and do slap me around the head if I am wrong. There's been 2 books. Is there going to be a 3rd book?
Well, I started the 3rd book a long time ago, and I kept on, things just sort of life got in the way of me pursuing it. And I absolutely was delighted. I mean, the first Tallulah book did really, really well, and that was fabulous. And it's a whole other career, and I'm spinning quite a few plates in life with my family, and at that time with my mum and dad who were elderly, and you just kind of have to make decisions based on just what you can manage in life.
Yeah, of course.
So I loved writing the books, but I also recognised that I was spreading myself a bit thin.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll probably go back to it at some point, but it's just, I never kind of know what's next. I really genuinely don't have a master plan. I never have, probably never will. It's too late now. So things just present themselves to me, opportunities.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say yes, and sometimes I say no. And I think I end up gravitating towards quite like-minded people. So I end up having really lovely experiences. Yeah. And I just kind of love being in slightly more control of it all as an older person. I think that only, I think when I was younger, I felt a little bit out of control of myself and of what I was trying to do, and it was scary. It was just really scary. But, years of experience and just recognising what works for you in life, and I feel incredibly privileged that I've had the opportunity to work that out.
Yeah.
And I love my career. It's not crazy, superstardom or anything like that. It's not even close to it. But what it is represents who I really am and what I feel proud of, I suppose.
No, absolutely.
Just like remaining true to myself, and that's a very, very difficult thing to do in this business.
It is. And obviously you don't want to go through that situation you went through when you were 23. Of feeling that burnout, so you sort of can monitor yourself on what you do now, and you're, as you say, you're in more control, and you can pick and choose now, really, can't you? So,
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean, I do get asked to do a lot of great things. I mean, and that is also what constantly surprises me. Even last year, when my agent phoned up and said, "Gone Fishing has asked if you would come and do a song in their special Christmas edition," and I was like, "Gone Fishing,"
okay,
which is like one of my favourite shows ever. So we got to do that last year, at the end of last year, and that was just so much fun. And I just, as I say, I just kind of gravitate towards things that I watch and I love and I want to be part of, and that is really, really great.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love it. I love it. But just going back to the tour for a second, as I say, it kicks off on the 19th of October in Brighton, runs right through to the 2nd of November, finishing off in Sunderland. You're going to be you're going to be close to me because you're going to be in Home Firth on the 1st of November. So I might come and knock on your stage door and see, can I come in and say hello?
Yes, please do. You can do a stage invasion. You can do what you like. You can... I just love the unpredictability of playing these sort of smaller venues.
It's a great venue, though.
I love it when people shout out and ask me questions, and it's so much fun because, I mean, I've spent the whole summer playing festivals, which has been great. But there's something about getting to play these smaller places where you can really look into people's eyes. And
totally.
It's special. We're going to Brighton, Bristol, Glasgow, Liverpool, Exeter, Stroud, Cambridge, Birmingham, Leeds, Home Firth, as you mentioned, and Sunderland. Yeah, brilliant.
It's going to. I mean, obviously you've been travelling around all summer, as you said, doing the tour and stuff with the festivals, and obviously this big tour coming up. What else is planned? What else have you got lined up? I mean, I know that takes up practically up to Christmas. But what have you got plans for the next year and continuation, or is that sort of you don't know yet?
I mean, there's some plans and sort of going on. Whether they come off or not, I don't know. And one of them, which would be really exciting, is touring America, which would be really fab.
Yeah,
I'm really keen to. It's been tricky because bands, I got asked to do some shows in Europe. this year. And I'll be really frank, it's so expensive that, you're kind of operating at a loss.
Yes.
And it's just not worth it. I mean, I'd love to, but I just can't afford to take the risk.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. And I think if you spoke to a lot of bands that are kind of on my level, they would say the same thing, and that's tricky. But I'm hoping that things will ease for bands travelling abroad again. Hopefully they will. And as I say, there's talk about an American tour. And I've been involved behind scenes, helping to select some new musicals for development. And, there's always stuff going on. And, it's just keeping going has been, it's incredibly hard.
Maybe
I've managed to do it so far.
Yeah, maybe Altered Images, the musical.
Yeah, oh my God. You never know.
You never know. And if that's something
I don't rule out anything.
Well, there's the vast majority, great catalogue of songs. Obviously, ABBA have done it, Take That have done it. So why not Altered Images?
Yeah, it's funny. At one point, I was trying to develop the idea to do the first Tallulah book as a musical, because there's quite a lot of it. Because I've written all the songs that I mentioned, Tallulah and the Teen Stars, in all the books. If I've mentioned a song, it's because I've written the song to accompany it. And I always think I should really do something with that. It's kind of time. And, I'm a mum, and I love hanging out with my daughter, and I love having some downtime. Maybe it's just that there's just only so much you can cram in to life. Yeah. And I certainly do my best at cramming things in.
Yes.
But maybe next year, I'm probably, this year I've worked a lot and been away from home quite a lot, and that's quite tricky for my husband and my daughter.
Yeah, of course.
So if I do the American tour next year, that'll probably be it, and the rest of the time will be at home making dinner.
Yeah. Or getting hubby to make dinner.
Ironing. Yeah. Sorry to burst that glamorous celeb life.
Yeah.
Balloon, but the truth of it.
Absolutely. Any film or TV things sort of passing by at the moment or looking at in the future?
No, I mean, I'm really quite keen to do another play. I feel a bit deprived of, and a bit cheated of the opportunity because, as I mentioned earlier, I was in Pitlochry when at the Festival Theatre. Doing Barefoot in the Park, the Neil Simon comedy, when lockdown happened. We didn't get to finish the run, which was also going on to the Lyceum in Edinburgh. And then I suppose because I wrote Mascara Streets during that lockdown time, then everything post-lockdown became about promoting the album. And just suddenly everybody wanted me to sing again, which has been great, but it's kind of taken over. So it would be nice to do some theatre next year, which I'm pretty sure will happen, but not allowed to say anything just yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Clare, I will say this again. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us on The Breakfast Show. You've made an old man very happy. I'll say that. I'm similar age to yourself, so I just want to say thank you so much. But it's been a pleasure. Can we finish off with a song? Can you pick a song that you'd like to pick? Can be any song you like from the Altered Image catalogue, new or old.
I'm going to have to choose Don't Talk to Me About Love, which was the first song that I wrote with my husband, Stephen Laroni, when he joined the band. And I think it's just classic Altered Images.
It certainly is. Clare, stay on the line. But right now, let's play that absolute corker of a track.